Hey crew, good to see you. We're back to another math lesson today, okay? This is page 317 of your math. So if you want to get on page 317, I'll give you a second to find that one. Got it? Okay. Make sure your name is at the top. Even at home, guys, I had a few papers that came back with no names on it. Thankfully, they were stacked together, so make sure your name is on there. Okay, so today what we're going to do is we're going to look at comparing numbers. Now remember, when we compare numbers, the three symbols that we can use are the greater than, the less than, and the equal to. Those are the three signs that we can use that we're going to put in here. Now today, I'm going to show you a couple of things, a couple of ways that we can determine which number is greater, okay? The first thing that you could do is you could do what we've been doing, and that is this. You could make hundreds and tens and ones, just like this. And there's two tens, and then there's 9 ones, right? Now, this is a possibility. However, as I look on page 317, I don't really give you that much room to do this, although you could do it over to the side. The problem with doing it off to the side is you would have to make sure you write super small. But you can do this, or you could use a separate sheet of paper, okay? It's kind of up to you on that kind of stuff. But if we do this, as I look at this, now, the first thing you're going to compare is the hundreds. And if I look at the hundreds, do I see one side has more hundreds than the other one? More squares? Yeah, this side has more. So since this side has more hundreds, I don't have to worry about the tens or the ones. If the hundreds number digits are different than one another, then all I have to do is look at which one is greater. In this case, 7 is greater than 3. So my symbol that I'm going to put in here, it's going to be open to the 7, because 7 is greater than 3. But here's how we read it. Let's start over here and let's read it together. Ready? 358 is less than 729. Okay? 358 is less than 729. Now, that's one way you can do it, but let me show you the way that works for me too. And I've actually, we used it, I think we did the tens digits, but I kind of show second graders this every year because I don't have to do all the drawing. What I like to do is this. For my hundreds digits, I'm going to draw one line underneath the hundreds digits on both sides. 3 and 7. Okay? Now, those two being different, obviously, we already have it there. But let's do a different one. Let's say instead of that, they give us this. This isn't on your worksheet yet. We're just going to, I want to show you a couple things first. Now, looking at this one, if I put one line under the hundreds digit, they're both what? 3, meaning 300, 300. So those two are the same. So I'm going to have to go to the next digit, which is the tens digit. Good. So we're going to go to tens digit. I'm going to draw 2 lines under the tens. Under the tens, I'm going to draw it. Under the tens digit, I'm going to draw 2 lines. So now I'm comparing now the number with 2 lines under it. And again, they're both 3. So again, those are the same. So now I need to go to the ones digit. And with the ones digit, I'm going to draw 3 lines underneath that one. So I can see now I'm comparing that number that has 3 lines under it versus the number that has 3 lines under it. 8 is greater than 2. So since 8 is greater than 2, I know 338 is greater than 332. Okay? Now, with 317 set up the way that it is, with your numbers this close together going down the page, this might be an easier way for you to do this. And again, if all you have to do is compare the hundreds, then you just draw the one line. If you get to the tens, and those two are different, then you just compare those. But whichever number is greater, hundreds or the tens or the ones, as soon as you find the one that's greater, stop. So let's practice doing this on page 317. So let's do the first, well, we'll do the first 4 together. How about? So let's start with, I don't want to lose too much red. Let's go. Okay, so we have 1, which is 635. and 735. And then number 2, which I'm going to go underneath. I know that yours goes side by side, but I'm going to go underneath, okay? 527. Number 3 is 820. And number 4, which is okay, now, I'm going to get my red marker again. Hopefully this isn't bugging you too much, Wilder. I'm just using it for the underline. So let's start with number 1. And again, we're going to draw one line under the hundreds digits on both sides. So I have a 6 on this side in my hundreds place, 7 on this side of my hundreds place. Are those two the same? Nope, they're not. So since those two are the same, I don't have to go any further. Now I know that one of these is greater than the other one, and 7 is greater than 6. So I'm going to go make the less than sign because 635 is less than 735. Now, if you notice, look at this, 35 and 35. Those two are the same, but does it matter? Nope. Because all we're looking at here is the hundreds digit to begin with. And if those two are different, it doesn't matter what's going on here. I'd rather get $735 than $635. Okay? So the other two numbers doesn't matter. Let's go to number 2. Let's do the same thing. Number 2, we have hundreds. They're both 5. And the tens, 2. Okay, so those are still the same. And in the ones, those are both the same. So what should we put in the middle? Yep, equal sign. Because 527 equals 527. Now, some of you are sitting out there going, Mr. Duncan, I could totally see that before you even drew the lines. You think you might have seen it, but we're going to go through it because we're going to get to one in a second here, number 4, where it's going to try and trick you. So that's why I like to do the lines every time. Let's go to number 3. Number 3, let's start with the hundreds again. One line under the 8 in that hundreds, one line under the 5 in the hundreds. Okay, we're done. Because 8 is greater than 5, 800 is greater than 500, so we don't have to go any further than that. We make our 820 is greater than 518. All right, let's look at number 4. Now, this one's going to try to fool you because they look like they're the same number, but are they? I don't know. Let's see. All right, so first of all, let's look at the hundreds. We have a 3. Looks good so far. They're both the same, 300 and 300. Now let's look at the tens. 2 over, now do you see? They flipped those two numbers around. That 7 and the 2, they flipped around. So it's 2 tens over here, 7 tens over here. And 2 tens is always less than 7 tens. Therefore, 327 is less than 372. So we're going to put our less than sign there. Okay? We don't have to go the ones digit on this one because we already know with the tens, which is a greater number. Okay? So on this side, make sure you do that. Now, let's look down at Puzzle Penguin. Puzzle Penguin down there at the bottom. I'm not going to tell you what Pirate's doing today. He's being super lazy. You know, you guys want to sleep in every day? He is sleeping in every day. Yesterday, I showed him the video that we're still in school. I even showed him a video of Governor Noem saying we're still in school. He doesn't buy it. So maybe I'll get it back to school next week. We'll see. But let's take a look at Puzzle Penguin here. Puzzle Penguin says this. 35 and 245. And Puzzle Penguin put the symbol in like this. And they made an X to it like this, saying that's not correct. Now, what do you think Puzzle Penguin did wrong here? Got an idea? Okay, you hold your thought. Let me show you what I think possibly happened here. Puzzle Penguin might have done the same thing that we were doing and went like this, and said, oh, 300ths is greater than 200ths, and then did that symbol. But is this 300ths? No, it's not. In fact, if Puzzle Penguin did this correctly, Puzzle Penguin would actually have to draw the line over here, showing that there are how many hundreds? Yeah, goose eggs, 0. So that doesn't work. So underneath where it shows our work, I'm going to use blue to show this is our work. Okay, they have 35, and then they have the circle, and they have 245. They want us to draw boxes, sticks, and circles to help Puzzle Penguin. So let's do it. How many boxes are we going to make for 35? None, right? Because we said there's none there. So no boxes. How many sticks? 3. Let's make them 2, 3. How many circles? 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. Over here, 245. How many boxes? 2, because there's 200, right? 1, 2. How many sticks? 4. And how many circles? 5. Good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and now I can see just by the fact that there are boxes over here and no boxes over here, makes it pretty obvious what our answer is. If there's hundreds on one side and none on the other, that means the side with hundreds is greater. Okay, back side of the sheet, down at the bottom, they are giving us some addition and subtraction problems. One thing I want to remind you of, okay, it's been a while since we've done this, and I just want to give you a reminder. On the subtraction, when you have a number like 100 and you're subtracting something like 35, 0 minus 5. If the top number is smaller, then I have to borrow. So 0 becomes 10, but I can't borrow from 0. I have to borrow from 10, right? And 10 becomes 9 tens over here. 10 minus 5 is 5. 9 minus 3 is 6. My answer is 65 on that one. So there is one problem down there at the bottom. It's number 27. That looks kind of like this, where you have 100 minus 52. So make sure when you borrow the correct way, okay? So it's just my little warning. Otherwise, pretty much the rest of it is same as what we've been doing. Now, if you go to the other sheet for today, which is page number 161, 162, more of the same. Yeah, more of the same, okay? Now, the bottom of number 7. Let's go to page 162 and let's look at the stretch your thinking. They give you these numbers. 6, 1, 3, 7, 2, 0. And then down below they go like this. La-ta-dee, la-ta-dee. They give you 4 of them. I'm only going to do 2. Okay? Now, the obvious one that you can do is just go the number straight across. Because it says you need to use the digits to write pairs of 3 two-digit numbers. That's not what it says. Let me tell you again. Use the numbers to write pairs of 3-digit numbers. Now, pairs of 3-digit numbers mean 3 digits are in the number. 1 digit, 2 digit, 3 digits, and 1 digit, 2 digit, 3 digits. So you just go straight across on the first one, 613. And now I can look at it. Well, I have a 6 here, 7 over here. Obviously, this one's greater than. So 613 is less than 720. So that's one way you could do it. Okay? Then I can take and I can go, I'm going to go with my smaller numbers, 120 and 367. And which one's greater there? Yep. 120 is less than 367. So there's 2 ways that you can do it. Now you've got to figure out 2 more ways to put those together to make 2 other problems. Now, using these numbers, will you put an equal sign in the middle ever? No, you can't, can you? Because with all those numbers being different, you can't create two numbers that are the same. So you're going to have a greater than or less than symbol in between. Okay? So that's your assignment for the second sheet, 161. And then this is stretch your thinking on 162. Do the first two together, you do the last two, okay? All right. Let's see. That should be about it for your math then for this week. Hopefully your math test is done. And yeah, you did the first two pages before, but this was page 317. And get it done. You have, I don't know when you're going to be watching this. It's Thursday for me right now. But then get this done, bring it back to school on Monday, okay? And I'll get it checked over. Hopefully you do okay with this kind of stuff, okay? All right. Nice job.